For who? Because in a few moments, ladies and gentlemen, and other creatures of this earth, in a few moments, we will embrace the presence of one man called Downie. Is that the exciting one, right? Is that what you're building on? Yes, is that what you're feeling deep inside? Like your gut's like all tingly because this is the man who went to Peru and found a bear.
Was
I
the
have to
bear
mention that. It's important. That's what he did. Or at least his character. But most of you will know him from this little indie franchise game called Baldur's Gate. You might have heard of it.
Little indie?
Baldur's Gate. Who knows Baldur's Gate? Okay. Alright. Forget the thing I said about Paddington then. Because what you're really waiting for is this voice, this man who added life to the game that enhanced and filled up your days for so many times since its release. Can you be louder? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tim Downie! Hello, great to meet you. Have a seat right there. Welcome in Ghent. Yeah, okay.
Thank you. I'll sit. I'll sit. Wow, that's a big sofa.
It's very bouncy.
That's got a lot of give.
All day, we just.
No, fine.
I was hard working in Ghent. That's what I did. I
was eaten by a sofa.
It's called. I never know exactly what to call it in English. Sofa, setee.
Sofa, setee.
Setee. Do people say setee anymore?
They did in the 70s.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't anymore. Or a setee would look like something that you cover in plastic that you know was like for good.
Fancy ones.
Keep it for good.
Yeah.
For guests.
This one's for the grandchildren.
Absolutely. This has seen a lot of use.
Probably. It's probably from grandparents. Thank you for being here with us. They're all really happy, I guess. Woo! The thing is, this is called a Q&A because I'm gonna let them ask most of the questions because they know more than we could ever gather like a true set. Why are you asking this? We don't know this. We'll see how that. Yeah, it's Sunday morning. It should be okay. So if you feel like asking a question, I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna stand up.
It's a difficult sofa.
Yes, you've been caught now in our magical couch.
Yeah.
We'll find more words, synonyms.
Why not? Again.
If you want to ask a question, you just raise your hand. You were not prepared for asking questions, right? No, not at all. So think about it now. You raise your hand, and then I'll come running to you. And you can ask your questions to Mr. Downie.
I have a question about the charts at Baldur's Gate 3. It looks for me that your faces, real life, are really comparing to the faces in game. Did you use your pictures for that?
No.
Or is it just coincidence?
I think it's just. I think they're probably tweaked. Like if you look at the early access. Gale and Star and Lazel and things like that, they look very, very different to what they've finally landed on. So I think they've taken little moments of us, like face shapes and eyes and things like that, and just kind of morphed it a little. So it is quite strange for me as well, when you look at it and go, there is something off, I can't quite put my finger on it. It's like an uncanny valley, you know, that thing where you recognise and think, wait a second, it's not quite. But yeah, I think they did, just to kind of tweak it, I think.
They took some fun pictures of you, and could you look surprised? And I'm like, oh, let's do this for dinner.
Exactly.
That's how it went.
That face you did, that one.
Yeah,
we'll use that.
Fix it. We're drawing this down. All possible. Yes.
Hi, so my question is, spoiler alert for the people who haven't played it that far yet, but as you might know, there is an option for Gale to use the orb to basically kill himself and have an early end to the game. But he has some conflicting feelings about that, like, should I use it to stay close to the Goddess Vistra and fulfill my duty, and then as Stag he can convince him, like, no, you shouldn't do it. What's your point of view on that matter? Like, do you think that he should stay close to Mistra and use the orb and fulfill it, or do you think like no, he should stay alive and do the other act?
I think from my personal point of view, please don't kill me. Please don't do that. That's not an option. That's never an option. Just ignore that. Ignore it. Yeah, keep me alive as long as possible. For reasons you will find out. But it's always worth having a wizard in your party. Not a sorcerer, because we start that chat again. Sorcerer. You want a wizard? Definitely want a wizard. Absolutely, keep it around.
It's a trick from the game makers. It's to see who is faithful to you,
Absolutely.
and who rejects
And then
you.
noted on a board.
Yes, sorry.
Ooh, that's interesting.
We'll keep it in mind for later on. Let's see here. A red hat is always a good sign.
Hi, so glad to finally catch you because we missed you in Holland, unfortunately. But I wanted to ask, knowing your TikTok account, it feels like you and Gail are quite similar in the way you speak, which is duh. But I wonder, like, how did the way you portray Gail influence the way you speak today, or did it influence it at all? Because I feel like sometimes it's hard to, like, when I look at Jennifer English, she sounds very different than Shadowheart, but I feel like with you and Gail there's so many similarities, and did that influence how you speak today?
Well, do remember this was my first game, so I've never done anything even remotely like this. I've done audio books and things like that. So I think I was very naive when I came into it. So and usually when you play a character, unless there is a very definite thing that says, oh, he has this accent or there is this history, you think, okay, well then I'll do my voice. What's the worst that can happen? And now I say anything, and you can see people going, but that's Gail Waterdeep, what's he doing here? So you go into a shop saying, I'd like to return this washing machine, and you'll get someone saying, why is Gail Waterdeep returning a washing machine? He shouldn't be here. Why is he here? So yeah, or if I greet anyone by going, oh hello, and they'll go, oh hello. Yeah, that's how I say hello. I really should have done an accent. Or just changed it. But there is a lot of similarities. I didn't realise how much similarity there was, and obviously I've drawn a lot on just what I like and what I do, being very bookish. I like books. I have a lot of books of magic. I then suddenly realised when someone said, you have a lot of books of magic. Like, oh yes, I do. Yes, I do actually. Yeah, that's true. I like weird, mysterious and odd things. I'm a big folklorist, so I like anything unusual. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities that kind of came out as we were going along. And I think that's probably the genius of the writers, to kind of pick those things and find those things and then begin to kind of, massage them and bring them to the fore. But yeah, I've told this story before, but there was a time I was on a ferry from the Isle of Wight, which is a small island in the south of England, to Portsmouth. It's very short. I was crossing it with my kids, and my youngest, who was being quite annoying, said, can I get an apple juice? Fine, you can get an apple juice. And I went, there was nobody else on board this ferry, and I went up to the guy behind the counter and said, hello, can I get a coffee, whatever you have? What do you want? Really? Okay, fine. An apple juice. He went, oh my god, you're Gail Waterdeep. And it was then I realised that one, the scale of this game, and two, I really should have done that.
Yeah, they probably, with your voice and being recognizable as your own voice, they might have considered changing from Baldur's Gate to Downie's Gale.
I mean, it's still an option.
Still an option.
Still an option.
That's added content. I'll come there and then come to you. Ron, you ready?
I know you play Baldur's Gate 3 with Neil Newborn. How is it to play it?
Well, he's insane. He's exactly as you imagine. Yeah, it leaves very little else to the imagination. Yes, he's crazy.
How about you?
Oh, I'm a terrible player. I'm like a dreadful player. I am the type of player that will spend, like everyone spends a lot of time, creating their characters. Yes, that would take me weeks. But then I would also spend probably 20 minutes running into a table and then thinking, why doesn't this work? What am I doing wrong? Now I'm in the air. Why am I in the air? I would spend a lot of time doing that. The value of watching it would be very low. You'd go away, come back.
Why is he still walking into a wall?
No, he's been on this for half an hour now.
Exactly. Surely he realises what he's doing wrong, but he doesn't.
Should we call somebody to check on him?
Someone needs to intervene. There needs to be an intervention quick.
See, and then here in the front.
Hi, Tim. Imagine Gil was sitting next to you on the couch, reading a book, as he would probably do. What would be the one song that would make him go a bit while reading his book?
Oh, the one song. That's quite. Just go through every song in my head that I've ever heard, which is quite a lot. I think probably something like Management Kids. You know, the one that goes. Because that makes me go.
Yeah, I can get into that.
Like that. Get into that vibe.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
nice game.
It's a good one. And there's lots of monsters in it.
You could have said the Macarena, which gets everybody else.
Could have said the Macarena. Or the Frog Song.
Oh!
Or Eiffel 65. You know?
Yeah, I do, but let's not
That
say
was awful. That was a dark time.
And it came, that was last year, somebody reused the
Please
melody.
don't say that.
Okay, nobody should look it up, forget it. Some things are better left forgotten. And then some, it is
Like the ring. It's leave it at the bottom of the lake.
yeah, nobody touched, no,
Don't
stop.
need that anymore.
But it is, and as annoying as those songs are, that's a kind of magic as well, isn't it? Even, maybe because we find it, like, it sticks in one's head and then you're stuck for it.
It's the genius of that.
It's
It's
genius.
that it is the worm in your head.
But that's magic too, right?
It's dark magic.
Dark
It's dark magic. It's
That
like
has
solid
strong
gold.
Yeah. And blue creatures. Anyone?
Smurfs?
Yes, yeah. I do not see you immediately. Here I am.
So my question is, what was your favorite part of the game to film? And was it with a co-worker, maybe with Neil? Or
What is it with Neil?
His charisma.
yeah.
We didn't do any of it with anybody else. We only did the entire game on our own. So we didn't hear, because obviously at the very beginning of the game there is nobody else saying any of these lines, so it's just somebody reading them in. And then you have to imagine what a Starion sounds like. So all the voices were versions of, I think they may sound a bit like this, Harlach's going to sound a little bit like this, Elminster is probably going to sound a bit like this. And then when you're about 2 years in, they will say, we've actually recorded, do you want to hear the person saying it? It's like, yeah. And that changes when you hear somebody else vocalize it. You think, okay. And that's where play begins, as well. You think, okay, that's great. Well, if I do this, that'll be quite fun to do that back and vice versa. So, but my favourite bit, the bits with Elminster were great, and I really enjoyed those little bits where they not gave you free rein, because it was very structured, and the lines were the lines, and they are the lines. But when you're given free interpretation, say, much like the stop licking the damn thing, which was supposed to be very straight, stop licking the damn thing, just say it. And then at the end of the recording session, they just said, well, how would you say it? How would you do it? And I was thinking, much like when my child asked for an apple juice on a ferry, I said, what would I do if it was like an ice cream that you dropped on the floor and they just kept picking it up? And then you would just sort of stop licking the damn thing. You would have more of an emotive thing. We laughed, we thought they're never going to use that. And then lo and behold, it's now going to be etched on my grave. he licked the damn thing. And there he is. It's a lovely, it's great. It's great when they did that. And there were certain moments as well where, you know, you'd be seeing like a tiefling child that was dead, and you'd record it very seriously. Oh my god! And then I would find it quite amusing to go, oh my god. Anyway, let's go. Or you'd just go, yeah, well, that's awful. Anyway, I've just found that quite amusing. I can't remember if any of it got in. Probably some of it shouldn't have done. So that's probably a good thing.
Hi. Were there any things that you noticed changing during the recording of the lines that you think back like, oh, in the beginning I sounded more like this, and then near the end I changed that a little bit?
I think it was mainly the writing. That after the early access, after those 6 months of recording the early access, we would come back and you would definitely feel a shift in the writing, because the writers had seen what you do, seen what your strengths are, seen kind of how you want the character to sit, and you would hear very definite shifts and changes going, oh, that's really good. Or it was something we would done as a little throwaway thing, and then incorporated just a hint, just a shadow of that, and you go, that's brilliant. But that's a great writing team. That's a writing team that want to bring out the best from their actors. I'm sure everybody would say the same. The characters have shifted and changed into what they are now by using what's there, and that's just wonderful writing. That's just keeping attuned to the story and then hopefully playing to the strengths of the people that you have around you. But yeah, that was the biggest change, and the look of it as well. It's slightly looking different, the character looking different, and it feeling more like you own this character a bit more. You can kind of feel like you're slipped into the skin rather than wearing it. Oh, I'm a wizard. There are so many wizards. How can you make yours different or stand out or interesting, or all the grey areas? Because the grey areas is where the fun is. No one is just good. That's boring. No one is just bad. That's boring. But it's that hinterland that you toy with, that we all toy with, where you kind of go, oh yeah, well, I'd rather do, oh no, I shouldn't. That's where it's, oh, why did you do that? That's where the similarity comes from, or where one as a person thinks, okay, yeah, that's interesting. What a dilemma that person has. That's what I find the most fun.
So thank you for coming. First of all, so you just described a little bit of how the process works in voice acting. What aspects are very different with voice acting versus, for example, you work on Outlander, where it's traditional acting? What is different, and what parts of that do you prefer?
The difference is, when I first started, I thought I'll be able to get a grip of the style of it quite quickly. That was very naive and rather arrogant, because when you start doing it, and when you really want to do it well, you think, I really want to do this as best I can, you realise that the skill involved in the performance of a character is actually really difficult. Like, you will watch some performances and you'll be able to go, that's really good. Now, why is that really good? What is it about that performance that person is doing that stands out? And it's the fact that they've melded together things like mask work. Like, you take an actor's face away, you're taking almost 80% of all that expression. So you're taking that away, but you're not embodying it too much that it becomes like grotesque or a pantomime. But you want it to remain real. So where does it sit within that? And then also with the voice, making it sound conversational, making it sound realistic, without it sounding like narration. So it's trying to combine those three, and it's a real skill. Like, when I was sitting and watch Neil, because Neil's done it a lot, and Sam's done it a lot, and you would sit and watch them and go, that's really good. And like, you'd watch them in the booth, and you'd watch the avatar, and you'd think, okay, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. How do you do that? What do you do? What's the physicality? How do you get into it? And I think that's, it doesn't get enough. I think it does now more, probably thanks to Baldur's Gate. But I don't think it did. Like, it is a difficult thing to do. But you'll all recognise it. You'll all recognise in games where you go, that's ridiculous. That's really good. And that's where that emotional connection comes to. But it takes a little while to get into that groove and find that sort of happy middle point.
Now that you're talking extensively about looking how to find this emotionality and the truth in just using your voice, in Paddington, the segments that you are in, there's no voice, if I recall. He does use a voice. It's much more pantomiming. It's completely the other way around.
It's a style, that's a stylistic choice, because obviously Paul King wanted to hark back to the 1970s, where there was a cartoon that I grew up with, which was all it was flat 2D animation. It was almost like it was cut out of a book. And they use it again in some of these sequences when Paddington opens up like a pop-up book.
Yes.
It mirrors the style of the 1970s Michael Horton Cosgrove Hall, I think, did it. Style of cartoon making. So he wanted that opening to look more echoes of that old, and then as it bleeds into the colour version, for this to be a movement into this new world. But when we did those sequences, we had some actors from Commedia dell'arte who were very physical, who physicalised the bear. So it looks like there's nobody there, but they are there. To moving around.
Holding up the space where the bear would be.
Taking up space, so you would have an actual something to look at and to react to. The scariest thing though is when they said, "Oh, do you want to?" They always have these moments. "Oh, do you want to see this?" And I said, "Yeah, what's in the box?" We filmed it in the cloud forests of Costa Rica. No reason, just decided we'll film in the cloud forests of Costa Rica.
You actually went there?
We actually went miles from anywhere. It took 4 hours up this dirt road to get to this cloud forest. And they were lugging these huge bags, and they said, "Oh, do you want to see what's in this particularly large, heavy metal bag?" Yes, I do. And they opened it up, and it was a childhood nightmare, as it was the head of Paddington on a stick. And they got it out, and you were just looking at it going, "Well, something inside me has just died." That's great, and it's full. So they needed it to get the special effects. So they pop it up, and then have the silver and matte balls. So I don't know if you know, but silver, they'll always put in silver and matte balls for special effects. It's how light hits the eyes. So the eyes reflect, so they'll use a silver ball and then they'll turn it to a matte. It's how the light sinks in, so it's to get almost that realistic sheen that you get, rather than it looking like, "Oh, that's not there, that's obviously not there." But yeah, that was quite interesting.
That is scary.
The head of special effects had crippling vertigo, and so we had 5 very high metal bridges to cover. To cross, and he would crawl over. Crawl. Took all night. And the local guides were saying, "There are jaguars here.
Yeah, you'll have to go.
Better be a bit quick."
Yes. No time. I hear them coming. The jaguars. Yes.
So I know that there are other origin characters, and I know that a lot of people ship Gale with Astarion. I was wondering if you would have to ship Gale with an origin character, who would you put him together with?
I would probably go Carmack. Popular choice.
The people agree.
People agree.
Yes, it has been decided.
I can say no more. Carmack is the one. Exactly.
So I was wondering, while you were producing Baldur's Gate, was there at any point a point where, when the team came onto you with an idea, you were like, "What have I got myself into?"
Oh yeah. oh yeah. I think the major one that knocks everything else all out of the park is because I didn't know games, and they said, "Well, Judge, we'll do this." I was like, "Yeah, great." On this particular day, you'd come in and everyone was all a bit sheepish. And they'd, "Well, it was very strange. What's going on here?" And they'd say, "Oh, we're doing the romance stuff," and you'd be like, "Okay, what's that?" Like, is it like, flirting? That's fine. Sort of romance, things like that. I go, no, it's not. No, it's not. Oh, okay. Well, what is it then? And then they went on to tell me, and I went, "Oh no, I was not told about this." And then you kind of suit yourself up, go into a room, 4 hours, and record kind of one block, sort of weave romance scenes and variations thereof. And it's exhausting because you're on your own, and it's quite an emotional thing. You have to picture so much, and to really kind of get to that point. And then once it's done, it's exhausting. And then cut to 2 months later where they said, "Oh, you know that weave scene? We're going to do that again." And you're like, "Again?" Yeah. They've changed some bits and pieces, and so we'll do it again. So another 4 hours with the same team looking at you through the glass. And then cut to again, about another 3 months later, and yes, we are going to do it again. So I ended up doing it 4 times, the weave scene. So that's the one that really, stamina, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the drive home after that was like, I'm absolutely shattered. What did you do at work today? I don't really want to talk about it. It's all right. But yeah, that was tough. It's just a lot, it's a lot of mental strain because there's nobody else to play off. So you don't have that shared experience. It's just you imagining what you think the weed looks like, the boat, like all of those things are just kind of living in your head for 4 hours in a continuous sequence. And then when you re-record, they don't necessarily record in the same sequence. So you don't get that lineal curve where you have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you have that build, and then it comes out the other end. You might go, right, so we're going to start at the end, and then we're going to go back to the beginning, and then we're going to go to just near the end, then we're going to the middle, then we're going to go back to that end bit again, then we're going to go back to the beginning, and it's absolutely exhausting. You're going, I don't understand. It's like you're in an abusive relationship with yourself. So I don't understand what you want anymore. Yeah, it was quite, that was quite hard.
Out of all the characters in the game, who do you think you yourself would get along with best, except for Gale?
I was going to say me. Absolutely. Gale, we just talk about books and different types of tea. It'd be great. Fabulous. Who would I get on with the most? Probably Will, I think. I think, a nice gentle chat, that kind of thing. He can show me his sword. Great. Yeah. I'm a wizard. You're doing that. Great. It'll be nice. It'll just be a very simpatico. I mean, Halcyon would be a good chat as well. But that could turn strange.
So you're known from the TV series and movies, so why video games so suddenly?
As a working actor, it came up and they said, would you like to do a game? And I said, yeah, I'd love to. Why not? Yeah, okay, give it a go. And usually with castings, you put something on tape, and you will send it off into the void, and you may or may not hear anything, and you think, okay, well, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And when they came back and they said, yeah, they'd like you to do it, you think, great. I have no idea, I don't think anybody had any idea the scale of it. So when you're offered something like a video game, you think, oh, okay, well, this would be nice, a few people will play this. That's it. Like, you don't expect it to be particularly big. I've been in some very big films, so I know how that kind of works. I've been in big TV things, you know the kind of curve of these things. But with a game, I had absolutely no idea. So you just kind of go in and think, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to play. I'm going to learn. I'm going to see what everybody else does. I'm going to come in on okay, I'm the newbie here, so I'm going to just take as much as I can and learn from all of you guys that have done this thousands of times and try and do the best and approach it like I would any other acting project. Like, I want this to be the best thing it can be. It's not just like, oh, it's a video game. No, what would be the point? What's the point in trying to make an art that's just kind of, oh, just right. You want it to be brilliant, no matter what it is. Even if it was a voiceover for an advert for like a toilet cleaner, I want that to be the very best advert for a toilet cleaner. I want you all to go and buy that particular toilet cleaner, because otherwise, why bother? But there's such a wonderful enjoyment in going, no, I'm going to really put everything into this, because I think this will be really fun to do that, and then trust that all the other component parts around it are working on that same vibration. And lo and behold, on this particular one, they really did.
Two here on your left side. I can do 2 more questions, I think, and then afterwards, if people have more questions, they can come to the table where you are downstairs.
Absolutely. Come chat.
Me again. So now, knowing everything that you do about filming for this, or recording for this video game, would you do it again? Can we expect you or your voice in more games in the future?
I would love to do it again. I may or may not be doing some other things as well. Who knows?
You're filming for
Who
Geek
knows?
Girl right now.
I'm filming Geek Girl, yes. Filming Geek Girl.
Very excited for that as well.
So we're doing series 2. I filmed Friday, I'm filming tomorrow. So yeah, it's busy. And it's a great series. There's lovely, lovely guest stars that are coming up in that. And that's just a lovely, very uncynical show. It's the type of show that we all need right now. It's just a celebration of neurodiversity and friendship and family and love. And it does it without being cynical. I think that's exactly kind of what we need right now. We don't need anything else. There's a lot going on. I don't know if you've noticed. There's quite a lot going on at the moment. It's quite busy. So it's quite nice to have something that's celebratory.
Geek Girl.
Geek Girl, Netflix. Series 1 out now, just saying.
Have you ever played played D&D before like recording Gale, or have you played afterwards?
I have never played D&D. I played it after the game, but when I was a kid, there was a cartoon series. There was Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon series, which came out in the 80s. That I watched religiously. That, without a shadow of a doubt, I was always the barbarian as well. Erin the Barbarian is definitely. So that it was a great series, and it just seemed to go on forever, like those cartoons in the 80s. There was one called, I think it was called Ulysses 3000, that just went on forever. Just kept on going and going and going. And Dungeons and Dragons was one of those. It was always on at the same time. I'd come home from school and there'd be Dungeons and Dragons. My parents were a bit like, really, you want to watch this? Yes, I want to watch. It's monsters in the eyes of the beholder. And things.
What kind of a question do you want?
This is ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yes, glad and mum. Yes. Well, thank you for your many questions here during the Q&A. If they have more questions, they can find me downstairs.
Please come, say hello, definitely. Come over.
If you want to go wild, get an autograph or something along those lines. It's all possible. Everything is possible with none other than Tim Downie! Tim Downie once more, ladies and gentlemen! And if you need more Baldur's Gate at 3 o'clock, we will have Andrew Wincott.